Hello and welcome to another edition of the Door 14 Hockey Podcast. I'm your host Marty alongside Dave
Hello. My
and
ba- my
Aaron.
laptop's dying.
It was a very dramatic entrance. It was like, hello!
I love that like the podcast is just starting and we're just about to have a technical issue.
Yeah.
We are also for the first time, hopefully, maybe, on TikTok. Might be live, there might be sound. If not, we'll have to stop at TikTok live. We'll see what happens. We're waiting for
Hi,
John to
TikTok.
text and let us know if it's actually working or not. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, boys, how are we doing? Dave, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying the start of the off season.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And Aaron, how are you doing?
Yeah. All good. Yeah, nothing to complain about. A couple of good games there, and then a couple of bad games.
Yeah. I mean, we were. I was gonna it's gonna be really Belfast there for a second. The way I was gonna say that. We were supposed to be here last week doing the podcast recording, but we had an issue, so we had to postpone it and put it back to this week. So we are kind of a week behind on some of our news stories. Which it's fine. We'll catch up. But we do have some highs and lows to talk about, shall we say, in period one. No John tonight. John is currently sitting painting somewhere at home. In one of his rooms.
This guy has a mansion at this stage, right?
Yeah,
He's been
clearly.
painting for about 6 months, I think, at this stage.
Clearly, I would have lost the will to live after the second room, to be honest. Yeah, it's just not my thing at all. I hate painting.
I hate painting. Same.
Hate it. For anybody who is watching for the first time, we are a podcast first and foremost, and we do venture into social media stuff, and John does a lot of that. But we do we do host a podcast every 2 weeks or so, where we talk about all the world of hockey from here in the UK right across the world. We break it into 3 periods: period 1, 2, and 3, just like a hockey game, and we usually have some other little features in different bits and pieces if there's things to talk about in different parts. I think that's a good enough introduction for now. If it's okay with you guys, I think we should just really just get stuck straight in to period 1 of hockey.
Sounds good.
Okay, period 1 is a roundup of all of the stories from around in the UK. Mostly, we're just going to focus on the major story that we missed from last week's podcast, which is the end of the Elite League's, the end of the official Elite League season, going into the playoffs, which we are now going towards this coming weekend. So our 2 main stories will be focusing on those, and then there's also one big story to talk about in relation to a massive news about sponsorship here in Belfast as well. Let's start off with the period as we always do and look at the standings as they finished for the Elite League. Finishing top and the crown of the winning champions was the Belfast Giants. Everybody played 54 games, by the way. Not going to go through games played because everybody played 54 games. Belfast Giants finished the season with 84 points, followed by the Cardiff Devils in second place with 75 points. The Nottingham Panthers finished in third with 72 points, and the Sheffield Steelers also with 72 points finished in fourth. The Guildford Flames finished in fifth with 64 points, and the Manchester Storm finished in sixth with 61 points. Coventry Blaze came seventh with 57 points, and Glasgow Clan, also with 57 points, ended up in eighth. Obviously, they all moved into the playoffs, and we know how that all happened, and we know what happens next when we talk about it. Dundee Stars finished in ninth with 31 points, and the Five Flyers finished in 10th with 28 points. Boys, let's just jump into it. Obviously, Belfast Giants, our own team, our home team, the team we support, and we're very honest and open about that in our podcast. Winning another league title, this time with, I want to say, was it 3 games still left to play in the league? So we still had the double header, second game of the double header. Then we had the Manchester game, Guildford game, and a Coventry. Oh, it's a 4 games. Coventry game. We didn't pick the second game. Anyway, Giants won. Boys, what's your feelings and thoughts? Dave, we'll start with you.
Absolutely phenomenal. Anytime a team wins the league, it's such a big achievement. You have to be consistent over the full run, and it's not an easy achievement. For a lot of these players coming in, especially from North America, where they don't normally have to switch on until like halfway through the season. But yeah, it's always an uphill battle, and the Giants, after a questionable start, There was a lot of the sky is falling after the first few weeks, and they obviously turned it around. The group of guys that the Giants had by the end were unbelievable. Sacrificing the body for every shot coming in, and really wanted to win that league title. If I'm right, making them the most successful team in the Elite League history as well. So phenomenal, like it's unbelievable. And the 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 ability to pivot after injuries and pick up the likes of Copsey, in wake of Whistle's injury, and then with Gravel leaving, um, they were able to pivot and pick up the right people at the right time, um, and obviously turned out to be the right moves. I think by the end, when you look at the stats between Whistle and Copsey, they've unbelievable like save percentages and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think I think as Giants fans, I think when it came to that mid-season point, or I would say mid-season point, but when it came to that post-Christmas January kind of move towards that final stretch, we did wonder why we had so many, why the Giants moved in and were going for so many goalies, and I think at the time we were kind of, what's going on here? This is really strange. Why did they go for Kupski? And what's the move here? I think everybody kind of knew at that point Gravel must be on his final moments and he must be going from the team. I think whenever we'd seen other players leave, and I think we've seen a couple of forwards and stuff go, we kind of thought, well, the Giants maybe we're going to look for some more firepower to kind of replace the ones who left. But actually, they pivoted. They went defense and they went goaltending, which is quite an interesting move. And then obviously then they brought in that the guy goalkeeper from Austrian league or somewhere, and it was yeah, and it was weird because we hadn't seen him, and then he came out obviously for the winning night, and then he came on and played a few games obviously for the final run. But that was an interesting one. Aaron, just coming to you, I suppose we're talking about this end of the season. In terms of the Giants completed the league. But if we look at the complete opposite end of the season, we look at the start of the season, we look at that run in the Challenge Cup initially for the Giants against the Dundee Stars, just constantly just come up against Dundee Stars and Dundee Stars, just hammering them and just really having their number at the start of the season. We had a lot of people at the start of the season, fans, thinking, sky is falling, what is going on here? What do we do? I mean, to turn it around, to have it as the toughest winning the league,
do you not think this is, I feel like this is a common story, a common thread that we've had for the last couple of seasons. I was thinking about this at the weekend there, that I feel like we've had this kind of thread for the last couple of seasons, that the start has been quite a rough start. And this season has been amazing. Like having the other teams having those amazing runs at the start, and then the Giants finding their feet and then like really taking off. And one thing I was thinking about is it really just hits home Kiefer and the coaching team. And I like the team's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't know the players that we've got, but the coaching and always being able to get the team to gel. It might take the whole season, or maybe the first half of the season, and then they're hitting the ground running. But it seems to be a constant at the moment, which is really good to see.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And you kind of talked about the league this season and how it kind of shaped up and kind of looked. And Dave, I suppose from a point of view of this league this season, I mean, if we look at the Challenge Cup, we look at the league, we look at we're about to talk about the playoffs. I mean, it has been a completely competitive season, shall we say? I mean, we've seen we've seen Nottingham Panthers go on a run, sitting top of the league for a good stretch. Then they won obviously the Continental Cup, and then things maybe turned a wee bit for them because it maybe had a wee bit of a hangover from the Continental Cup. We had the Challenge Cup. We had the fact that it was the Nottingham Panthers against the the Coventry Blaze, which was again nobody, and no offense to Coventry Blaze, nobody seen it coming. And again, it was great to see Coventry move in and get into that spot for the final in the Challenge Cup. And we're about to talk about, and I keep talking, say we're going to talk about the playoffs, but we are going to talk about the playoffs in a minute, and we'll see what happened there. But I mean, in terms of we've been coming to the season, we were looking at it from the point of view of how many seasons we've been coming now, and I think next season, when we go into next season, I think this will be our 19th season next season, or yeah, I think it worked out as our 19th season next season, so it's our 18th season this year. I mean, in terms of the season, how did this season shape up for you? Do you feel compared to the other 17?
It was really an interesting one to watch because it was anybody's game for a long time in the season. Like even at the end there, you've got less than 9 points between second and fifth. That's crazy. You wouldn't have seen that a few years ago. You would have had that block of top half, top four, maybe 20 points above. And seeing that come closer and closer is, it's only good for British ice hockey. And also seeing, obviously, Coventry's had an unbelievable run this year, going all the way to the final. And then obviously we're going to talk about Manchester and we're going to talk about Glasgow as well in a wee minute. But seeing these more dynamic sort of pivots in games, like I've been saying all season about the Storm are probably the most physical I've seen a team in the Elite League era. I think they're unbelievable. Like they're really, and if you were like a non-partisan person watching a match, you would just get a really entertaining game of hockey. It's hard to watch as a Giants fan whenever you're playing them because you're like, calling for penalties left, right, and center. But if you were a Manchester fan or a non-partisan, they're definitely probably some of the most entertaining games you'll see. Hitting everything that moves, which is unbelievable. And then the Cardiff, Nottingham, and Sheffield all suffered from the same sort of issue where they would string, a load of games together where they'd win, and then they would trip, but then they would trip maybe 2 or 3 games. Or the likes of Sheffield, whenever the spotlight came on, they struggled. So when Belfast went to Sheffield or Sheffield came to Belfast, where those games were like, 4-point games every single match, they struggled to find the tempo. But in the flip, when the Giants went to a team they should beat, they struggled.
Yeah.
So it was...
Well, proof in point is playoffs. I know we haven't got there yet.
Let's just jump into playoffs. Not just jump into playoffs now. Obviously, with the league, the way the league ended, Giants won. The league ended. Top 8 teams go into the final, the quarterfinal stages of the playoffs, which was held over the 2 games. For anybody who doesn't know where how it works here in the UK, so you have each of those teams will end up doing 4 games, and that will go into 2 games, blah blah blah. Anyway, the way it was drawn up then ended up being the Guildford Flames faced off against the Sheffield Steelers, the Coventry Blaze against the Cardiff Devils, Manchester Storm and Nottingham Panthers, and the Belfast Giants versus the Glasgow Clan. We all made our predictions going into that quarterfinal weekend. We put it up on our social media, we put it up on our TikTok, and I don't think any of us got it 100%. Let's be 100% honest, boys.
Oh, I think I was wrong 100%, but possibly.
In the end, we got a bit of a surprise in the end. For the semi-finals now has been set for this coming weekend in Nottingham, and the final weekend is this coming weekend, and it has been set as the Cardiff Devils versus the Glasgow Clan, and they will play in the first game at 3 p.m. and the second semi-final between the Sheffield Steelers and the Manchester Storm, and that'll be a 7 p.m. face-off in Nottingham. But I mean, Glasgow Clan taking out the Giants and the Manchester Storm taking out Nottingham. I mean, that was a big surprise. But again, it's exactly as we were talking about previously there in the league, and how the league was so unique this year in terms of how it went. I mean, this is something I don't think anybody's seen coming. This is Glasgow's first appearance, I think, in the playoffs since, I want to say something was 2014 or something around then. Really? I think they mentioned. I think this is Manchester's first weekend. So this is a big weekend for them.
So would Dundee have usually been up there then?
I think Dundee has been there, but not necessarily. I mean, it's primarily been. Yeah, it's primarily been obviously the big 4 teams dominates normally. We've obviously had Guildford has been in there a couple of times, and we've had a couple of other surprises. Coventry usually there for the playoffs, but this year it definitely looks fresh in terms of just how it looks. Guys, I mean, I could pressure you and say I'm going to ask you, what's your take? What do you think for the playoff final weekend. I mean, if we take the two games, let's go with the first game first. Cardiff Devils versus the Glasgow Clan. Cardiff Devils finishing the league in second place. Glasgow Clan finishing the league in eighth place. Glasgow, though, obviously taking out the league champions, Belfast Giants, to get into the semi-finals. What is your thoughts on that first game, Cardiff versus Glasgow? What does your heart tell you? What's your brain saying, and what's your heart telling you?
If Glasgow plays how they played, then they've got a shot.
Yeah, it's going to come down to what happens on the night. Glasgow's net minding was unbelievable. The amount of shots they seen off from the Giants were crazy. I think that the Glasgow have an opportunity to grandstand almost, where they've done the hard work. All they need to do is win a couple more games, 2 more games, and they've lifted a trophy. I think my heart probably says Glasgow, my head probably says Cardiff, but I would love to see.
But weekend is yeah, exactly. And Dave, is exactly as you said. My head was saying, well, my head and my heart was saying Belfast all the way for the two of them. But as I said, Cardiff the Clan can be dangerous and have been and are just proven there to be dangerous. So it was Anthony that said that right there, just right, saying it's Cardiff's weekend to lose.
Yeah, I mean, the second game, obviously, as I said, is Sheffield versus Manchester. Sheffield, shall we say, had a tough season this year. Put out of the Challenge Cup, ended 4th in the league. Foxy's under fire a bit there in Sheffield this season, although he seems to be untouchable. But I think, do we feel that this is Sheffield's weekend where they kind of need to pull together their season? They need to kind of finish strong in their season. Is this what it's going to change things for them in terms of how the fans view how the season went for them?
I think as a Sheffield fan, obviously they'll want to lift the trophy. It's the be all and end all. But I already think that I already think he's lost the fans as a coach. Now, we all know that sport's fickle, and if he pulls it out of the bag, everyone will forgive everything that he's seen. But it's been tough to watch when they've lost games. Not that they should have won, but when they lost games that they should have been competing in. It's not that they just lost; they just didn't compete at times. And I'm wondering if like it's their last chance saloon for Fox, I think, and he'll want to win something, and they have as much chance as anybody else. But if they choke like they did against the Giants or Nottingham, then they're not gonna get any further.
To me, I think it feels like they have the most pressure of any team to prove themselves at this point.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, I say, but I feel like just with what you're all saying there, they have the most pressure to prove to the fans, for Foxy to prove himself to get through. Where like Manchester and Glasgow are absolutely loving life that they're there.
Even Cardiff, they're coming in with a new coach, first year taking over. Yes, okay, he knows the league, he knows what to expect, but first year in charge of a team, and he's into the playoff finals. He nearly won it. He came second in the league. He's proven that they can win. Where I think Sheffield they have a big big millstone that they need to sort of work off, and it's going to be tough.
I'm just seeing here, John saying he wants to see purple ribbons on the trophy. Doesn't care what shade. I personally,
that would be an amazing final to watch, though. Come on,
yeah.
If it actually was Glasgow, Manchester, it would be unbelievable.
So good. It would be so good. It would be so good. It would really put a real finish on the season, just for how unpredictable the season would be. I would love it. It'd be so good.
But it would just prove the point that playoff hockey is playoff hockey.
Yeah.
As in, you just do not know what's going to happen. So let's see it happen.
Yeah. I mean, playoff weekend is this weekend, and we are so jealous of everyone who's about to travel over to Nottingham from Belfast or from anywhere in the country, traveling down or up to Nottingham, shall we say. We're so jealous. I mean, we were looking earlier on. It's been 3 years, lads. No, yeah, 3 years. 4? No, wait. 3 years. It's been 3 years since our last playoff final weekend. And it just feels like, it's so long ago.
Gotta get our priorities straight. What the hell's going on?
I know. Between, I know my son being born. How dare he? But yeah, no, we need to get back soon because it's just the weekend itself. We've been there. We've been there at weekends. Dave. We've been. I don't know. I don't mean to. Sorry. I apologize if I'm mistaken in this, but the weekends that you've been in Nottingham, have the Giants always been there?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dave, you've been to weekends before.
I've been a couple. Yeah.
We've been to a couple of Nottingham weekends where the Giants were being represented because they didn't make it to the final weekend. We obviously love having your team there, and people say, "Oh, it's great. I can chill now, and I don't have to worry about it." I don't really buy that, to be honest.
It's more fun when your team's there, but
it's more fun.
It's still a spectacle whenever you're there on your own. You also don't have you don't have the pressure if you don't want to go to the early game. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can spend longer in Hooters, you can spend longer in bunkers, you can take yourself for a Chinese buffet or whatever, and you can go to the finals and and enjoy it. And then get into find somebody who's winding other teams up and enjoy yourself. It's Nottingham's a pretty fun city. I think it's something daft, like the highest concentrations of pubs in England or something daft. But it's great crack, and it's the only time where you get to go to a city and wearing hockey regalia is the norm. There's no sideways looks on playoff weekend because everybody you bump into is wearing a jersey, a hat, a jumper that's hockey related.
Yeah,
and it's always fun banter.
Yeah,
last time we were there, I remember us. I think we were having breakfast
with the Guildford fans.
and it was just having a chat. There was no menace or anything like that. Just having a chat about the league and about the teams, and just having a bit of banter, and some banter, to be fair, but nothing mean.
No, and it's not. It definitely isn't, and it's it's an experience for anybody who's going for the first time. Enjoy. It will be an experience you won't forget because just that sheer, as Dave says, the sheer atmosphere, but also, and as Aaron mentions, just that fan kind of gathering, speaking to other teams, going down to bunkers and people chanting on one side and then competitive chanting, but in a friendly way, not like an aggressive type way. But yeah, really, really enjoy it. For anybody like ourselves who can't make it to Nottingham or isn't going to Nottingham this weekend, it is live on. This is the interesting one. It is live. Let me get this right. The semi-final games on Saturday are all on Elite League TV, for which can be purchased. Each game is priced at £16. I think is that correct? Yes. And the final is also being streamed on Elite League TV, but it's also on Premier Sport. So if you already have a subscription with Premier Sport, it is live on Premier Sport, but it will be shown on Elite League TV stream as well, which is very interesting that they've went down that route. Who knows? But it is available.
It's good that it's on TV no matter what.
Yeah, you can get to watch it.
It'd be good to have more, but have the final.
I'm surprised that Glasgow hasn't wangled a deal to get their matches for free somewhere. Sort of with their owner being the same as TV people.
Premier Sport. Yeah.
Exactly. I was about to say it's the second best weekend of hockey you can have. The first being the Continental Cup.
Yeah.
I haven't done the Spangler Cup yet. I think that would be a good crack. But
Continental Cup is phenomenal. I do love Continental Cup weekends. Continental Cup weekends away. Home ones are okay, but Continental Cup ones away are always just superb. They're always amazing. The two that we've done were both in Germany, and they are both amazing. But yeah, fantastic weekend.
Very, very different parts of Germany, to be fair.
Yeah, one coastal and one central. Yeah. One we done a lot of historical stuff, if you remember. The first one we went and we done nice touristy historical stuff, and then our second one, I don't think we. Oh no, we seen a Navy ship or something. I think it was like a submarine.
The last surviving U-boat or something daft, wasn't it? And then we seen Kiefer throw chairs or something.
Yeah. Let's move on to the last story for this period, boys. And this was a big one that the Giants or the Odyssey Trust announced this past week. So they announced it 2 days ago, and it made massive headlines here in Northern Ireland, but also I think it caused a lot of people to sit up and go, "Oh, so they did there." So did there. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
moving on. O2 and the Odyssey Trust have announced a new long-term partnership with the launch of the O2 Belfast. Odyssey Trust and the charity established to oversee the management and development of the Odyssey building itself have confirmed that it will be rebranding as the O2 Belfast as O2 the company. Virgin Media / O2 are becoming the official naming rights partner for Belfast's Odyssey Arena. But in terms of, so obviously all that part of the whole thing of like anywhere else across the UK where you have an O2 arena, they're taking over the arena running of the arena. They'll have it all branded in terms of O2. They'll have the infrastructure put in for O2 / Virgin internet connections for fans that are going to be in there. There's going to be a lot of stuff for the arena in terms of that whole idea of rebranding side of things. But as part of the agreement that they made for the 10-year naming rights and the agreement for the contract they decided, that also means that they will be taking over the W5 complex, which is in the Odyssey Place currently, which has changed name, and they'll be starting to do kind of like a Discovery Center learning part as part of that. But the most biggest part, and us as a podcast and also as hockey fans, the biggest thing that came out of it was the announcement that the O2 would become the official sponsors of the Belfast Giants. The new partnership sees them becoming the title sponsor from next year, and it's a massive milestone as it's the only professional hockey team in the island of Ireland who will be sponsored by O2. But also, not only that, they will join the likes of England's men's and women's international rugby union teams, which have been partners for over 30 years. So this agreement is massive. I heard on a View from Bridge podcast this week, if anybody hasn't went and listened to it or watched it back, do go and watch Fitzpatrick. It's on there. He's the CEO, former CEO, former chairman for the Odyssey Trust. He was on talking about this whole thing and how it came about. And he said it's 5 years in the making. They started discussing this 5 years ago. COVID stopped it. And he said about all the things that are going to maybe come as part and parcel of this whole thing. One of the big things that he announced, or he had said and alluded to, which people have jumped onto, is the fact that next season could see the first time that the Belfast Giants, well, since year 1, year 2, the Belfast Giants could be rocking one single sponsorship on their jersey, which would be an O2 sponsor on the front of the jersey and nothing else, which would show you how lucrative this sponsorship deal is, that the Belfast Giants can go forward with only one sponsor on the jersey and nothing else. Not saying there won't be still sponsorship around the rink, because there probably will be, of course there will be, but I mean, this is a massive, major milestone. Boys, I mean,
it'll be one of the most sold jerseys, I think.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, I think everyone's going to buy one.
As long as they get the design right. I mean, even if they made, you can't polish a turd. If they made this year's jersey just with an O2 thing, I still wouldn't have bought it.
No.
Awful.
Looks like a teal mummy.
A teal mummy or a white mummy if they were.
Someone done a mock-up, didn't they? And they posted it up on the internet, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No. There's been a few of them now. Yeah, it does look really nice.
Just follow one of those. Just go online, see what the fan mock-ups have been, and just do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a massive thing for the Giants, obviously, to have this one potential solo sponsor on the front of the jersey, but also as their title sponsor being O2. I mean, I think personally, I think that's a huge milestone. It's huge. Yeah. I genuinely do think so.
Do we know? Is it a 10-year? Because it's a 10-year deal for the. It's not. Is it the Odyssey? Are we allowed to call it the Odyssey anymore?
We'll still call it the Odyssey no matter what.
So it's a 10-year deal, definitely with the Odyssey. But is it a 10-year deal?
I believe so.
Giants, because I heard
that it worked that way.
Yeah, I heard that they O2 wanted the Giants as part of the deal.
Yeah, and again, Fitzpatrick mentioned that in his chat with the View from the Bridge. He had made comments and said that one of the big things about this whole package of sponsorship and package of rebranding and everything else was that O2 Virgin, seeing how lucrative the Belfast Giants are as a unique stand, as a unique sport, and as a unique team, right across the globe, in terms of the kind of what they bring in and how they attract attention, and how we've had things like, the and how the Giants organization slash, trust, Odyssey Trust, have brought in the big things like, you've had the Boston Bruins before, we've had the likes of the we have the NCAA hockey games going on here, Friendship 4. It's a constant thing. So I think they've seen it as, this is a big opportunity. NCAA Friendship 4 is streamed right across the United States every year when it's here. So, again, that's another way for us to kind of get the O2 name out there. So it's kind of, it's on a global scale. We take part in CHL, again, it's all that kind of idea of, well, if a team takes part in CHL, we'll get to that later on. Again, it's another idea. It's another way for O2 to get out there. So I think they looked at it from a point of view of, it's a no-brainer. We want them as part of that. So that's a big thing. Other parts of it is that that Fitzpatrick had mentioned was that there'd be a few changes to the arena this coming off season. It was to be honest, we had heard a few rumors about this about the middle of this season. I think there was conversations had that the two other corners, if you don't know the Aussie arena, currently we have two large screens, one in the far corner over by where the away fans are, and then one behind the boomerang corner. The other two corners, there is supposedly screens there. They just weren't working, or they haven't been set up correctly, or there's something now. They're going to put in 4 screens, so it's the whole way around. Yep. And what we'd also heard, and we knew this was coming, was there was going to be an electronic banner going around a rink in some way. Now, I don't really know where it's going to be. I'm going to guess it's maybe along the concourse underneath the boxes, maybe. But it looks like it's going to be a strip around there. But I had heard they were looking at maybe the actual boards were going to be supposed to be electronic at some point. But I think that's further down the line, maybe. But yeah, I think they have talked about maybe so it'd be interesting to see.
The banner ones are really good. Whenever you see them used properly, like in the NHL and stuff, they're unbelievable. You obviously can use it for advertising, but also the whenever I was in Nashville, they done the player names after goals, so the player name and number came across and stuff like that. Was really interesting.
I guess it would make more sense for the banners to be up by the boxes, because then it's not just during the hockey then, because if it was down by the hockey or down by the ice, it's only during the hockey games.
Yeah.
Where if it's up by the boxes, every event could use them.
But yeah, that was a massive story, and it is exciting to see what's going to happen. I mean, our off season has literally just started here in Belfast. Unfortunately, we're not at the playoff final weekend, so our off season has officially started for us here in Belfast, and it's already started off in a very exciting way. And I think John had mentioned it, and John kind of said in one of his TikTok videos was that it did feel like the Giants / Odyssey kind of maybe put the story out when they did because of what happened. But in saying that, there was a massive conference, arena conference that Fitzpatrick is at the moment over in, I think he said somewhere like Austria or whatever it is he's in the moment, and as part of that conference they announced it as part of so it's like a European Council of Arenas or something, I think it is, that it's part of. So it's all the major arenas around Europe get together as part of the conference thing each year, and they do like a big thing.
I think no matter what, these types of things don't happen overnight, and these types of announcements don't happen overnight.
No.
It might have been that they decided this date because it was the best of both worlds. As
Possibly.
In, it's a really good, don't worry, you didn't make it, but here's some amazing news for moving in the next season. Or, right, playoff weekends, let's get off with some really exciting news to get us through the weekend.
We'll definitely be coming back. I'm just seeing a comment and I didn't put it up. I apologize. I'm gonna put it up in a second. I mean, we definitely distracted by that comment. We're definitely excited about what's going to come. And I'm sure when it comes to our off-season specials, we'll have a few off-season specials throughout the summer months. And I'm sure when it comes to them, we'll be like, what's going to happen next? We might hear things. We probably won't. If we normally follow suit, the Giants won't actually announce anything or show anything until the first weekend home games of the season. So that'll probably, whatever that might be this season. So we'll have to wait and see. Sorry, I'm just going to put up this comment just because I had obviously mentioned about you can't polish turd, and
Yes, I'm just reading that.
Aaron's good, lovely wife just put up, hey, you can polished iron up.
I polished
You.
iron. I'm telling you.
Funny.
Still some polishing to do, I tell you that much.
But yes, there you go. Guys, I don't think there's any other stories. There is a couple of other stories, which I didn't get around to. I know there's the first kind of official signing, shall we say, for the off season has also been announced this week. And I don't mean to just bypass it and whatever else. But that was the 5 Flyers. Yes, I said that right. The 5 Flyers were the first team to announce a signing for during the off season. Because normally we're usually waiting until like the week before season starts before they even mention anything. But yes, they have announced that Garrett Hunt, Garrett Hunt, Hunt is returning next season, and he'll be returning as assistant coach as well.
Assistant
So
coach,
assistant coach. So he'll come back as player and assistant coach, and that was, I think, officially the first announcement.
We didn't really talk about them at all there. At all we didn't even reflect on the 5 Flyers season.
They've had enough of. To be honest, they've had enough of our attention this season. The season, they've went quiet. Thankfully, they haven't been in the headlines in any way.
You said it now. Something's going to happen between now and next week.
Let's see.
After Hunt was announced, I decided I would have a look at his resume. That guy's been about, like. He played for the Kunlan Red Stars in the KHL. I was like, that was unbelievable. And then he turned up in the Elite League and he's garbage.
So I mean, we will be back next week. We'll be back instead of our 2-week wait. We will be coming back next week for our wrap up podcast for the season. So we'll be coming back to reflect on the playoff final weekend, and I suppose just kind of piece together our thoughts of the season, kind of give a post-mortem for this past season, and look ahead.
Wait to see which purple ribbon is going to be wrapped around that trophy.
Exactly. Boys, let's wrap up period 1, and let's move on to our period 2 of hockey.
Hello and welcome to period 2 of hockey, and this is where we'll talk about hockey from around the world. So I'll start with a very quick rundown of the NHL. I'm not going to go delve in. I think look at you in your pre-prepped.
Fancy slides.
There's literally
you
only
didn't even did you show your fancy slides from the last one?
No, I completely forgot about them. Oh yeah.
So there's only a handful of games left to round out the regular season, and I don't think there's much play in the current standings between now and the end. The people who have qualified for the playoffs are all been announced, but I think there is a possibility for a few people to change from home advantage and whatnot. So we'll not go delve into too much detail, but we'll do a quick rundown. So we'll start with the East. So we have the Buffalo Sabres, 109 points. Who's seen that? Who put that bet on?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning, 106. Great job. Montreal Canadiens, 106. Another fantastic job. Colorado Hurricanes, 113 points. Phenomenal. The wife's happy. Pittsburgh Penguins, 98 points. Philadelphia Flyers, 98 points.
Where did this come from? Like, I remember 2 weeks ago when, and it's a spoiler alert for the Central, when the Wild had clinched, I was like, right, well, Flyers, very, very, like, I don't even know if they were in the wild card spot at that point.
So Philadelphia had a really weird situation. Because if you look at the league, the standings, so they're in third in the Metropolitan, right, at 98 points. The 2 wildcard spots are 100 points and 99 points.
99 points, yeah.
So they were outside the wildcard spots,
and
they had to just pip to push out Washington.
Yep.
Right.
And they jumped both those wildcard spots into the 3rd seed in the Metropolitan.
Yeah, so
Um,
when the Wild, and you sent it to me, I was like, I'm gonna go buy a Wild jersey because you're the only team that's gonna be there. And I was like, oh, I'll have to give you that Wild jersey.
wouldn't fit over one
Wouldn't
thigh.
no, I don't think it's gonna fit me. I think it goes to my son.
I mean, what I mean, I think both Aaron, both you and John at this point now have been, have been hit by wrong advertising of sizes. So I think
He got a
John had
toddler
that.
jersey, didn't he?
Yeah. And then I think he then cut off the badge on the jersey and put it onto his
That's
hat.
right.
I think that's how that hat came about.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
I digress.
wild card spots. Boston Bruins. I thought that was also a bit of a surprise. They had a really tough start to the season. 100
Good to see them
points.
up there.
Ottawa Senators again, pretty tough start, but they've done really well. Then we go over to the West. So the Central, we've got the President's Trophy winner with the Colorado Avalanche, 119 points. Unbelievable season from the Avs. Now, is that President's Trophy going to be the usual curse that it is? Let's wait and see. Dallas Stars, 112 points. Again, great season. Minnesota Wild, 104, another great season. It's going to be that that matchup, the Dallas Wild. It's going to be interesting. The last match they had, they were beating ahead of each other. One of the Wild put out one of the Stars players injured in a fight, so it's going to be absolute carnage, I think.
I mean, I think you're very measured. Dave, I was expecting like this whole like excitement there, but I think you're very controlled in your emotions
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
It's going to be it's going to be so tough. Such a tough matchup, and it's one of the things that lets the NHL down is their current setup because you're going to lose at least a quarter of the best teams in the first round because of the way that the second and third play each other. So they're some of the best teams. Where if you'd done the old top v bottom 16, then it would be a lot more. You would have a chance of a lot more good teams going through.
Yep.
Vegas Golden Knights 95 points, Edmonton Oilers 91 points, Anaheim Ducks 90 points. Anaheim Ducks have had a phenomenal season. Bit of sort of ebbs and flows, but I think they're going to be one to watch. Utah Mammoth have had another fab one with that new Zamboni of theirs.
Spoiler alert.
I forgot that. I forgot that.
And then the LA
I thought that
Kings.
was in the chat. Was it not?
You talk among yourselves. I'll go find it.
So, with that all said, that means that there is no Maple Leafs, and no
Preds.
and no Preds. So only two out of the podcast have gone through. But it's definitely been a turbulent year. There's a few who's going to play who's going to get home advantage still to be ironed out. That'll all be, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, there is the effect tonight here in the UK. Obviously, 12 o'clock tonight, I think, is the first of the last of the game. So there's a few of the teams there. I think you've got it in front of you there, Dave. I'm not looking at the moment. I think there is. Let me get it right. I think is there one?
8.
I think Colorado, Edmonton, Anaheim, and
Utah,
LA. And LA all are on 81 games played. So they still have games tonight.
Well.
And there was obviously the likes of Nashville, blah 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 blah. They're obviously, that doesn't matter, but they're playing against all those different teams. But yeah, there's still those top teams who have clinched spaces still have one game to play tonight. They all finished tonight. The 16th for us. Yeah, 16th. So they all finished tonight. So we'll know, as usual, as it is with our podcast. By the time our podcast goes out tomorrow morning, the final decision and the final brackets will be decided for the Stanley Cup playoffs. But we'll look at those next week on the podcast next week, and we'll do our predictions for Stanley Cup next week.
That sounds like a plan. Yeah, and that's and all the first few playoff matches will have already taken place by next week. I think they start on the 18th. I think that's what I read.
Yes, they start on Saturday. Yes.
Saturday.
Yeah. So it's going to be definitely an interesting run. I think this year is going to be a slightly more competitive than we've seen in past years, but it will be definitely one to watch. We'll see how it goes. We'll move on then to the first piece. We'll chat about the CHL challenger leagues. So, as you may or may not know, the CHL doesn't. They have a set of founder leagues, which are all the big ones, the Finland and Germany and stuff, um, that are the mainstay. They're the ones that founded the Champions League, and but they also have a option of 5 total challenger leagues that they can pick from, and that includes pretty much every other league in Europe. And the Elite League is listed as one of the possible challengers. But at this stage so far, the 4 we are aware of are Denmark, France, Norway, and Poland. I was very surprised to see Denmark on that list. Um, the rest, fair enough. Um, we're still waiting for the fifth. There's so it's really, we think it's coming down to the Elite League or um the Czechia, I think. Now we'll find that out in the next coming weeks.
Mm.
It's done based on it says it's done based on the like team ranking in the sort of European standings. Um, but we'll see how it all pans out. The Elite League always brings an air of fanfare to the proceedings because a lot of the founder leagues don't really get involved until past group stages.
Hmm.
You just don't see the same enthusiasm and media attention that say the Giants might bring to it, especially in social media circles. You seen that from the first few years where the Giants were in it, where they um, took away a lot of the fan awards, even though they were only in the group stage. So it's really interesting to watch, and they haven't give a date yet. Sure, they haven't for
No.
No,
the no.
they just
Um,
said it'll be decided soon. They haven't actually said when that'll be or alluded to kind of like who they're waiting on or anything like that. So
yeah.
you just have to wait and see.
So it'll definitely be um one to keep an eye on. I think all the usual suspects from the founder leagues have qualified again. I know Ferlunda qualified again. Uh, Dynamo Purdus qualified again, and stuff. So it'll be the CHL is a competition that I have a sort of love-hate relationship with. If that makes sense. I think it's an awesome opportunity to get to see a lot more teams and different players, and some players that are going to be NHL bound or have came from the NHL. Um, but I think it's a difficult tournament to play because it
Hmm.
is very early in the season, and some of these teams are stacked. And that's it basically ends up being the Giants or whoever from the Elite League that's in it their preseason. Um, and it's a lot to expect, a lot to take in. We know that the Elite League teams can succeed at that level. We've seen it with
Yep.
Sheffield, but yeah, I think it's a big ask.
I mean, I guess from I mean, if we're looking at that final league that does get added, I mean, the Elite League does have I suppose and I'm not saying it depends on which team in the Elite League. Um, Maybe it is a challenge cup type thing again, where it depends on like the infrastructure, like what size of arena and stuff and that type of thing. And but you kind of get the feeling that they in previous seasons the CHL have had a real like love in with the Belfast Giants in some ways.
Mhm.
I mean, I know piss it's a bit of a piss take, because they'll put out polls and the Giants fans will jump on and be like the Giants, blah blah blah, blah and everything's on. And they're talking about it in these these big live shows where they have like NHL stars pulling out numbers and stuff. They're talking about the Belfast Giants and about how like they're going to win the whole thing, and you're like, really? But I mean, they do bring the Elite League. Belfast Giants brings something to it, and I think they probably are quite torn in the moment. Probably like, we kind of like that kind of the buzz we get around that, the media attention we get around that. But then we have to look at the prospect of like
Yeah.
who is the actual more competitive league in terms of who should be
Yeah.
coming in and I suppose joining. I'd like to think that hopefully by the end of this weekend, or hopefully by the end of this week, before as we're going into the most of the seasons are done, that we'll have an idea of who that final challenger team is.
And then the next big question is, if it isn't the Elite League, what happens with the European spots? Does the Giants then get
Mm,
the Continental uh, Cup spot, even though it normally goes to the playoff winner?
yep.
Um, what does that mean for Nottingham already winning the Continental Cup? Do they get a spot? So it used to be back before the restructure of the Champions League that winning the Continental Cup was an in.
I don't know about it, then.
Yeah, because we had seen that with Cardiff,
Yeah. Yep.
Cardiff Sheffield.
Yeah.
Both of them ended up in the CHL. Now they've trimmed it down and streamlined the whole process, so it'll be, there's obviously less opportunities there. So it's going to be something to watch. I think that it would be a weird one that the league champion didn't get European action, and the playoff champion did. But we'll
Yeah, I would hazard a guess that if it comes to the point where the CHL isn't a viable option in terms of, because the CHL, obviously the Continental Cup hasn't announced anything yet either. WIHF haven't announced anything for the Continental Cup. But I would say probably that likelihood is it will be bumped down the way, so it will be like Giants will take the spot in the Continental Cup for winning the league. I would imagine that would be theirs to take. I couldn't see it. It would be weird if they didn't. Yeah. Which gives us an opportunity to potentially go away for a weekend.
Yes, yeah.
Unless they host it in Belfast, which is, let's be honest, it's likely going to be happening with the whole new O2 rebrand.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They might want to show off the new. Yeah. Tough decision. Maybe they'll do it, and maybe we'll go back to doing 2 stages, and we'll do the quarterfinal here, and then we'll do the final somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. So the next piece then, Marty, is all for you because I haven't read this one.
No, yeah, this is one that came out. This came out today, or no, yesterday. Late on yesterday afternoon. And this is a story. This is an interesting one. The head coach of the Swiss team, Patrick Fischer, has been basically let go from the Swiss international team. So he coached the team from 2015. He has coached the national team both on the Olympic front. So he's earned a number of different Olympic berths along the way from 2015. He's won 3 silver medals at World Championship levels, and he has been, I suppose, quite a stable coach for them. In 2022, without any NHL players competing, Switzerland was able to reach the quarterfinals of the Beijing Winter Olympics. At the time, China had some very strict COVID-19 rules, which required you to be vaccinated or spend at least 3 weeks in quarantine in a hotel before you could enter the country. Switzerland won 3 times. So basically, Switzerland. Long story short was that Fischer refused to take vaccines, and he faked documents in order to enter China at the time, which was a big no-no, shall we say. So he has been effectively immediately been let go by the Swiss national team as part of I suppose their way to clean up the image of Swiss Federation and world champion and sports in Switzerland. But I just thought this was an interesting one. I mean, if you cast your mind back, you probably all remember this as a point where we had like NHL players obviously weren't there, but we had different things and different rules coming in for crossing borders and whatever else. So this has obviously been found out, obviously a few years after the fact, but obviously action has been taken against the Swiss national coach. I just thought it was an interesting story. Nothing else.
Fined 50 grand.
By local authorities.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, he bought the forged certificate off social media, which was just
fit me.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
I know. So it's like, but yeah,
it's crazy to think back to COVID, isn't it?
I know. Yeah. It's insane.
It's a different world. That's it. And every season you mentioned all that, all I could think of was remember that whole run with the Vander Kane.
Yeah.
And he faked or did he?
Yeah.
Wouldn't just turned up to training or something, hadn't done his tests or something, and all this here. The whole world was falling apart. And he ended up was it suspended for a load of games or something daft? But yeah, crazy, different time.
That's it.
Different time. I've actually found a whole rake of masks there recently. There you go. Obviously clearing out from the work in the house.
But that's what you get for not following the rules.
That's
exactly.
it. Yep.
Follow the
same rules for everybody.
exactly.
That's it.
That's it.
So that is the end of period 2. If you have nothing else, guys, we can move on to period 3.
Will do.
Cool, cool.
Well, welcome to period 3, which is very well known as Knocky.
Knocky news.
Usually our Scottish counterpart hosts this period, and I feel like somehow he's managed to did he put these stories in, or
No, I did. I put all the stories in.
so they're very Scottish themed. Like, well, 2 of them are from Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's cover the first one, because I think this is a really interesting story, Marty, because this is kind of like your 2 worlds collide, I feel. Or am I reading into it wrong?
Yep, no, you're right. I work in for a charity that works alongside blind and partially people. So this story is a bit in my world of work, but also obviously my pastime with hockey. This is a story that was put out this week about a young player in Dundee, who's a young student in Dundee, who is visually impaired, who has found freedom through blind ice hockey. He took part in his first tournament earlier this year and is wanting to raise more awareness for the sport, and not only just in Scotland but right across the UK. Hagan Mitchell is his name, and he has a rare visual impairment. He has a visual impairment from it's a congenital one, so he was born with a visual impairment. He's 20 years old and he's studying business management. But he was, I suppose, seen an advert or seen information about this idea for a free trial for blind ice hockey, and he went along not really expecting kind of what he was going to get from it, and he ended up falling in love with the sport, right to the point where he then next month will be taking part in a tournament in Finland as part of his love of the sport. So I suppose, long story short, the idea of ice hockey, blind ice hockey, isn't something that's new. We talked about it, I think, a few years ago, where they were looking at how they can increase the game and the sport. For anybody who doesn't know, blind ice hockey is played with a number of different sounds on the ice. So the puck will have a sound where you'll hear like a large like a bell or like a sound coming from the puck, so you kind of know where it is, and you can kind of follow the sport in that way. But I mean, it's massive. I think it's brilliant, and it's a really great story, a really great piece. And I think we'll put it up on our socials, and you can have a quick read of it. But I don't know if you guys got a chance to read it and get your thoughts on the whole idea of it. And obviously, we talk about how hockey is for everyone, and about equality in hockey, and about how we try to encourage the fact that like it's not just for the diehards or whatever else. But this is another great example of how it expands and it crosses barriers and allows other people from with disabilities and stuff to get access to the sport. I mean, we obviously know para hockey, para sledge hockey as well is another big thing, but this is just another version of hockey. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think on that exact note, there's 2 quotes from him that I really love about it, and it's basically, I never got the experience playing as part of a team growing up, so pulling on my jersey for the first time was really special. I didn't really know what I was doing at the start, but everyone was so supportive, and that's exactly what you're saying. It's a sport for everyone, and being able to have that support and being part of a team is amazing.
Yeah.
No, but it just gives you so many opportunities, and at every level, from blind and partially sighted, and the Paralympics and sled hockey is phenomenal. It's not only just obviously giving those individuals something, but it just opens doors for and opportunities for everybody who thinks that they can maybe give it a go. I can remember I had this show with people in work, the what sled hockey was, because it's obviously almost a completely different sport, and it's a different spectator experience as well, which is phenomenal. But yeah, any layers of different abilities for sport is phenomenal at all levels.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about how, the UK in general, hockey, I suppose hockey across the UK, and we obviously know about the whole becoming one type thing this year, and how they're trying to encourage and increase the, I suppose, that ground level development for players right across the whole of the UK. We've seen that the NHL street tournament thing has started to kick off as
Yes.
well. So I mean, you've got all that happening as well. So I mean, this is just another little thing that's happening in another sport, another way for the sport to reach out and reach more people. But I thought it was brilliant.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing.
Good luck to Hagen.
Yeah, exactly. Next story, Aaron.
Yeah, no, it's another one of yours, buddy. I think they're all yours. NHL alumni, game sparks huge interest across Scottish ice hockey fan base.
Yeah, we'll stick with Scotland. This is a cute. I call it a cute tournament. This was announced today. The NHL alumni games are taking place on Saturday the 25th. It's the idea. It's in Murrayfield. Be two games, Murrayfield. And it's a whole idea of bringing in alumni from NHL alumni to kind of play games and feature games. And don't get too excited though. California-based Ryan Bale, the organizer, who's in Europe currently assessing talent in international ice hockey for the IIHF, claims it's going to be the biggest ice hockey series to ever come to the United Kingdom.
Oof.
Hold your thoughts. We'll make a decision what you think on this in a second. Bale confirmed that capital-based brewery firm Cold Town, whose name is understood to derive from blah, 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 blah. Two Dundee stars are set to appear in action. American-born left-wing centre Spencer Nass, who scored 18 goals and up to 23 other strikes. And then we also see Kanyu Yamato. We also see players coming in from Five Flyers, being represented by Canadian-born left-wing Milan Lucic. We also have Garrett Hunt. And we also have Simon Dupree as NHL alumni coming to play in this tournament. We also have a few players coming in from Sheffield. We have Tim Wallace coming in as well. We have from Milton Keynes. We have Jack Doherty. We have Jack Doherty coming in as well, who had games for Sheffield. I mean, that I'm not downplaying it. But to claim that it's going to be the biggest tournament to be played in the UK, I think it's a
from
bit of a
the UK
statement.
players.
I mean, it's a bit of a statement. Your thoughts? I mean, am I wrong in saying that?
It'll definitely be one to watch. I do love the photo. It shows Murrayfield, shows the jersey, shows a puck, and a pint.
Because Cold Town is a brewery that's sponsoring it. Yeah,
I know, but still, big sporting event and a pint. It's amazing. And is it just me? I haven't been to Murrayfield since obviously they left the Elite League, but it looks so much nicer. Looks like it's had a good a paint and new windies.
Oh, it has. It's all been done up. They done up a lot to it. They done a lot to it. They refreshed it. They painted it. The inside was all done up. Yeah, no, it's all been completely redone to make it look all nice and shiny. Yeah, no, it's been done. Yeah, looks good.
But so is it youth hockey players? Because it's at the end there it says a total of 80 youth hockey players from over 15 teams in the UK, including Murrayfield, Fife, Aberdeen, Moy, Dundee, Glasgow, Ayrshire, and a few others there are advertised as taking part in the event.
Yeah, it's going to be a number of games over the whole weekend. So you can have key games in terms of you're going to have the main key alumni games, NHL star ones, and then you're going to have a few other you can have some other games going on as well from other leagues and stuff and from other teams.
That's cool.
Yeah, that part's cool. I think that bit's really good. The fact that they're going to have youth hockey players coming in and you're going to have different little bits and pieces going on as well. I think that's a really nice part of it too. But yeah, I just thought that it was a bold statement, and I just hope they can live up to the bold statement that they've created for it.
It's over one weekend, you say?
Yeah, I think it's over. It's set as a weekend thing, but there's a couple of days set aside for the youth tournaments and youth games. I think it's starting the Wednesday of that week.
Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So Wednesday right through until I think Sunday the 26th. I think is what is the title.
Listen, more hockey is more hockey.
Yep.
More hockey in the UK is only a good thing.
Yep. Agreed. Let me see why my screen has went funny. Okay.
Now, the last one, the last story of the day, moving on to the last story, I can't actually open because it's behind a paywall.
I got it. Yeah, this is well, actually, I've got that other one. Let's do that other thing first, Aaron, if that's okay. Before we
Was it
move
in
on.
the
No, no, we'll do it before
Zamboni?
we'll do it before we'll do it before the jerseys. Actually, yeah, let's go with the story first. And this isn't. I had to go back and look to see if this was how long ago this was posted. This story was posted on the NHL's version of so it's through athlete website, but it's the NHL section. And I had to go back to see what date was on this story because I was like, is someone actually like is it an April Fool's
Taking
joke?
the mick.
Like is it someone taking the piss? But it was actually posted today, April 26th or April 16th, and it actually took place on April 3rd. So it's not an April Fool's. This is actually something that happened. Something you're not expecting would be a red ring of gelatin, so jelly for anybody in the UK. A red ring of gelatin perched on a 3-foot electronic platform built with jiggly measuring technology.
Jiggly measuring technology.
Jiggly measuring technology, people. Jiggly. Who knew that was a thing? On April 3rd at the UBS Arena in Uniondale, the New York Islanders versus the Philadelphia Flyers game.
Trailblazers and technology we are.
They had the Jello meter in the building. The device is being pushed by Kraft. Obviously, it's a US based company who creates Jello, which is one of the companies that they have. And they had it as a visual representation of the atmosphere in sports arenas. The idea is it has a decibel meter in it, the kind that you see on video boards, obviously, which you see when they try and get people to kind of, whatever it is. But the different levels of activity makes the jello shake. I can't believe this is a story I put in here. There is something really funny about seeing a plate of jello and people trying to get loud enough to see if it would respond to noise that's being made. The way it ended,
was the plate react? Was the plate moving to the noise, or were they actually literally just trying to get the noise to make the jelly shake?
So this is how it works. So the Jello meter offers jiggle readouts on a 10-point scale. So for example, 3 is like a running a hairdryer. 5 is the sound of a subway train. 7 is like revving a motorcycle, and 10 is earthquake level chaos. So they tried to see how loud the game could get to that would equal an earthquake. Could it equal an earthquake level chaos size 10 Jello meter? When Gene Gabriel Pagou scored the Islanders' only goal in their 4-1 loss to Philadelphia, the meter, which had moved ringside after starting the game on the upper concourse, hit 8.4, somewhere between crack of thunder and a rocket launch. So there you go. Jiggle technology. It took about 7 months for the meter to go from a brainstorm idea to an actual piece of equipment, complete with proprietary technology and a plan after the pilot tested, which has been tested in Long Island, to bring it to other sporting events. The plans to roll it out at other NHL games and other sporting events in the near future. I mean, if anything, at least it's a brilliant selling point for Kraft. I mean, it's just hilarious. But I can't believe this is a thing that they've developed and designed, and they're going to try it out in different places.
That's amazing. That's Kraft, and they're it's Kraft Heinz, so they do baked beans as well. So how do we get baked beans into the mix here?
Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, I was reading this and I literally couldn't believe what I was reading. I just thought, this is hilarious. I have to add this into the story. I mean, you can see why I thought this was an April Fool's joke. So I had to double check it and see, and it's not. So there you go.
Can't wait to see it at a Giants game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with that, I think you said there was another story before the jerseys, or
no, we're gonna do. Well, we're just gonna do.
Look about
it. We talked about it in period 2, and we needed to add it in. So the first thing before we get on to the jerseys for the playoffs this year, let's have a quick look at this. The Utah Mammoth, obviously embracing the Mammoth name this year and the branding and everything else, created this Mammoth Zamboni, and they rolled it out about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think it was. They rolled it out onto the ice for the first time, and people were riding on the back of it and stuff. And I mean, look at this thing. This is Zamboni, boys.
Yeah, it is awesome. One of the things that I loved was the concept art for the Flyers.
I was about that. That was going to be my. I was they came
yes.
back and done a gritty version.
Big gritty face just flying along the
Amazing. I really hope they make that.
Yeah.
This is class.
I
It is
mean,
awesome.
my son he's 2 years of age, and the only reason that he likes going to the Giants games is because of Zamboni. He's obsessed with the Zamboni at the Giants game. He hasn't seen this, and I haven't shown this, but I don't think he'll understand that this is a Zamboni. But there was a Zamboni, and again, it would be like his two worlds colliding. So the only other Zamboni that I've seen that I thought was completely amazing, and I'll see if I can get it for another podcast later. And if anybody on socials, TikTok or whatever it is, if you see any other fun Zambonis that you've seen and you think that's worth talking about, send it our way. We'd love to see them. There is one that I've seen, which is a fire truck Zamboni, which has
wow.
flashing lights and stuff, and it actually looks like a fire truck, but it's small Zamboni. And my son is obsessed with fire trucks at the moment. So if he sees fire truck and Zamboni together, I think his brain would just collapse in on itself. But yeah, so I have to get that one and show that one. But this is phenomenal. I thought this is a really great concept, really good way to jump onto that whole mammoth thing. And yeah, I mean, this is some piece of art, to be fair.
It just reminds me of the Power Rangers as well for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Megazord
or something.
Yep.
There
you go. There you go. Hilarious. Great minds think alike. Yes. So, last but not least, boys, I didn't do these all individually. I didn't think there's any point doing them all individually because it's the one design just colored differently. Playoffs, as we say, this weekend or this past weekend and this weekend, playoffs come, and as part of the playoffs, we get to see some playoff jerseys. Also, jerseys for teams that aren't in the playoffs also get jerseys created, and then it goes into the Elite League auction site, which is live now, I believe. So you can bid on those jerseys now. Which, if you've never seen it before, the auction. If you're going to bid, fair enough. It's your money, spend it whatever way you want to. But sometimes the prices for these jerseys just get a bit ridiculous. They go nuts. So let's get your thoughts. Obviously, the design is the same right across the board. Stripes on the striped bands on the arms, contrasting shoulders on the top end, and then you have your home and away color and white with your jersey and whatever else. So obviously, these are designed by, I want to say. Who does these jerseys again? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Rhino still? Is it still Rhino ones potentially? But let's get your overall. Dave, you were at the game you were at the Giants game anyway last week. I missed it, unfortunately. I mean, seeing it in person, you said it was a really nice jersey.
Yeah, it definitely looks better in person than it does in these pictures. The Giants one in these pictures looks very green. But it is a very teal. There's a lot of blues on it. You can it is a very obvious teal. And then the white, there's a grey hash sort of marks in the white. Gives it a bit of texture. And the sizing of the logo is really good as well. They haven't, some years whenever it was playoffs, the logo ended up in their crotch. This year it is pretty damn centered. And then the big Elite League logo on the shoulder. I think they're nice. They're non-offensive. They had to make something that would work on all the colors. I think it's worked really well. I think the Giants one looks really good in the teal. I'm not too sure about it in the white. The jersey that really works for is Manchester's. I think Manchester's jersey, it's no different, but the black and the purple rather than a lot of the other ones went with
I was actually going to say Nottingham. Same deal. The black and the gold or the yellow. I think the Nottingham's jerseys are really nice there.
Yeah, some of them work really well. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Nottingham one, the thing that stands out about the Nottingham one though, Aaron, is the fact that Nottingham one doesn't have any title sponsor on it. Yeah. They're lucky enough that they don't have a title sponsor on their thing, so they have obviously their home and away. One says Panthers, no one says Nottingham. Obviously, they change the logo interspersely depending on home and away games, but they don't have the sponsorship, so it's just plain, clear, clean jersey, and it always looks lovely. Their jersey always looks really nice because they don't have that title sponsor on the front. And I think although it looks quite big, the Specsavers one's quite big. Ironic, so you can see it. I think that the Fife one, although we didn't get to see them playing it, the Fife one looks nice. And for the first time, it took the Elite League to design a jersey for the Dundee ones to actually have decent jerseys for a change, because the Dundee one actually doesn't look so bad with that big NKM sponsorship logo on it. Usually that really overpowers on the jerseys, especially the ones they've made themselves. Dundee's made themselves this year, so it actually looks subtle enough there. But yeah, I mean, I think, as you say, Dave, they're quite non-offensive. They're actually okay of a design this year. I actually didn't mind them. But I think Nottingham stands out. But again, that's because I think it just looks so simple in terms of it just looks so uncluttered. There's nothing there. I think it just looks really, really well.
You know, I hadn't noticed the actual lining on the white until you actually said it. It's like a crosshair to the logo as well. Is it the same on the colored one as well? I'm not able to tell.
So on the dark jersey, it's on the white section, and on the white jersey, it's on the colored section. If that makes sense. So it's the shoulders and arm pads have like a texture on it.
Yeah, and I think that's the same. I think that's the same across the board for all of the jerseys. You know, obviously they've all got the little texture bit, because the Elite League, the only one that's really clear and really good was the Elite League. Obviously, sell merchandise this weekend, branded Elite League merchandise, and as part of that, they have their Elite League jersey, which is this design, but it just has the Elite League logo on it. And there's a few more close-up shots of that jersey on socials at the moment, and you can see the little aspects that they've added into that one. And I think that's cross-border. It's that same idea with the Belfast Giants one. There's little cross-hatching kind of idea in that jersey too. So it must be just the general design this year. They've included that for everyone.
It's definitely one of the nicer ones over the years.
Yeah, it's not bad actually. I don't think it's as bad as some previous years. The Elite League playoff jerseys sometimes are a bit, sometimes 1 2 years have been a bit naff, but definitely this year, I think they've struck a good enough balance that it looks okay.
They've kept it simple. I think some years they try and make it a bit fancy, and it just doesn't work with all the teams.
No, you're right. So there you go. If you want to bid on your Elite League jersey for your Elite League playoff jersey, the auction is live now, and you can go to eliteleagueshirtauctions.co.uk to have a look at that. We have
get to see some weird ones.
Yep.
Because there's the Giants have Alderson.
Yep.
Who played for Fife this year and never played for the Giants, but obviously was looked to be signed, and his jersey's available to buy for the Giants.
There you go.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So have a look through. There might be some weird one-offs that you might get, like a bit like my Patrick Mullen jersey. Not Patrick Mullen. Mullen jersey, 14, that I have that they never played in.
Yeah. Yeah, they have blood jerseys as well, which have no names and stuff on the back, but they still go for and they're usually slightly lower price, but they're still there and still decent for the price. And they also sell if I remember correctly, they sell the mascot one. Do they sell the mascot one? They do sell on the mascot one.
Both the mascots, the Finn and Fanula.
Fanula, yeah. So there you go. You've got those as well as an option. We have one jersey left to talk about in this period before we finish off the show for this week, and that is this jersey here. Our friend Tim McLean, Ethan, is turning 18 this year. He'll be turning 18 in September. Ethan is Ethan and his family are good friends of ours in terms of we love having a chat with them whenever we see them in the arena. I know John has a really good connection with Ethan and the family, and I know Ethan and his family gifted John one of his most prized possessions, which is a Preds jersey, which they brought back from Nashville for him, and it made his whole gear. It's made his it's part of it's big part of his collection, and he loves it. But as part of his celebration for his 18th this year, if you don't know Ethan is a young man here in Belfast who has been diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, unfortunately, is a life-limiting condition, which means that as he progresses over his years, unfortunately, it will eventually end in Ethan taking Ethan, I suppose, from us, from his family, which is really sad thing. And obviously Ethan and his family work really, really hard to create awareness around Duchenne muscular dystrophy. They raise lots of money to kind of find stuff around it and kind of promote it and make sure people are aware of what the condition is, supporting other families, supporting Ethan and everything else. And as part of his bucket list and as part of his 18th birthday celebrations, they've created this one-off, unique, special Team McLean jersey. Ethan is a massive Marvel fan, and he's a massive, specifically Captain America fan. So his colors are obviously in there, Captain America's colors, and the shield are on the shoulders. This is created alongside, I want to say it was, oh my god, I had it in my head who created these jerseys. Crosscheck. Yes. And they created this one-off unique Team McLean jersey for him, which obviously has his 18 for this year for his age. And they also then have the whole Team McLean thing across the front, and it also incorporates the colours of Captain America as well as his beloved Belfast Giants with the teal, the red, and the white stripes. These are available for purchase coming tomorrow, the 7th of April, and it will be added to my collection, so it'll be added onto my shelf. I'll be buying one tomorrow, hopefully. And you can go and get one of these. There's little subtle bits of stuff pinned into the jerseys. And if you do feel that you want to kind of support Ethan and in a big way, especially coming towards the 18th to help celebrate that, it'll be a really lovely kind of thing to kind of get that for next season. And they will be rocking those jerseys this coming weekend at the playoffs. So keep an eye out for Team McLean there over in Nottingham, and give them a shout out and let them know how nice these jerseys are. I'm excited about adding one of these to my collection.
Love the detail on the back there, which is like keep your head up.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I mean Ethan. I mean, anytime you speak to Ethan, I love having a chat with him in the arena. Him and his mum, they set up directly kind of behind where we are, door 14. Like technically it's door 15. But they set up there just underneath Boomerang, and I love having a chat with him about like his most recent purchase of Lego. I'm a big massive Lego fan. Here behind me, you can see all of that, but this is nothing in comparison to what Ethan has.
So he got to build the Enterprise, and that's I've done it myself. It's no feat. It's a lot. It's a big one.
And if we think about Ethan and his mum and his family have always talked about the fact that it is a muscular wasting condition, and as you lose power in your arms and your hands and everything else, one of the things that keeps him going is the Lego. He loves still being able to do all of that, getting around, and you'll see him in the arena with his chair with the Giants colors and everything on it now, and his board across the front, the electric board and stuff, and he smiles, he chats, and if you get him talking about anything, if you get him talking about Lego, if you get him talking about hockey, his beloved hockey, if you get him talking about Marvel and the world of Marvel. I mean, we've had conversations at the last Marvel movie. We were talking about what we thought of it and stuff, and the TV series and stuff. I mean, he's great. He's a great guy. I was gonna say kid, but he's not a kid anymore. He's 18. He's a great guy. He's a great young man. I'm gonna get one of these.
Me and the family went to his Lego.
Oh yeah,
fantastic day. Actually, it was really good. Him and his family put on a really good opportunity. But Ethan spent, I don't know, guts of an hour talking Lego and Marvel with my eldest, Xander. And anybody who has sat down and chat to Xander, he can chat the leg off a stool. And the two of them seem to have a blast. And there's a big difference. Obviously, he's turning 18, and my Xander's only 12. So it's he put the time in with somebody that he didn't need to, and it's it just shows a testament to the sort of young adult that he is.
Yep. But there you go.
Are we sharing the link to that on our socials tomorrow?
Yeah. We'll be throwing out the link on the socials tomorrow. When it goes live. There's John on TikTok saying he's going to drop some hard cash on this as well when it hits the store tomorrow. So yes, we'll throw up the link as well on all of our socials.
So the TikTok live worked.
TikTok live worked.
Look at you.
It worked. I know. I can't believe it. It worked. So unfortunately, if you so I will just apologize if you are on TikTok. I know the whole idea on TikTok is when you're supposed to like interact with the fans, you're supposed to like read out all the comments and all that kind of stuff. I apologize I haven't done it because I'm trying to do this first time trying it. Hopefully,
how many dozens of fans were there?
I haven't a clue. It's varied as you imagine with TikTok. It comes in and out. I'll look at the end. When you click the button at the end, it'll give you the full rundown of how many you had the whole way through. Right now, we've got 42 watching live at the moment. Hello, everyone.
No way. Hello, everybody.
But it's jumped up and down. People come on. There's been likes and there's all other bits and pieces. People saying hello. So I mean, it's there. hopefully I'll figure out a way to become more interactive with it. This is kind of like a really crude way to kind of get it going there, but we kind of wanted to put it out on TikTok to try it out, even towards the end of our podcast season. But we're hoping to kind of figure out a way of making it more interactive come next season if there's a possibility to do that. Our software that we use is kind of limited and it hasn't added TikTok just yet, but I have a feeling it's going to come at some point, and it does. Hopefully we'll be able to kind of interact a bit more and kind of engage with our TikTok world, and not just our people who are watching on YouTube and Facebook and whatever else, on Twitch, whatever. So yes, you're very welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed your first show on TikTok, and if you stuck with us the whole time, thank you very much. If not, you just bounced in and out, thank you for at least checking us out, and hopefully you maybe come back and check out our other content on there. And with that, that brings us nicely to the end of our podcast, and that talks about us promoting our other stuff as we have. And we usually do that by pointing you in the direction of our, they've moved stuff, pointing you in the direction of our other socials and all that good old stuff. So we're obviously on TikTok, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, X as Door14. You can check out our socials here on this QR code up in the corners for anybody. So
the logo's changed
here. I know, it's all changed. So yeah, it's up in the corner. It should pop up in the corner somewhere there. Yep. And you can follow that QR code, and it'll take you to our LinkedIn, our link tree. Sorry, I was going to say LinkedIn. Our link tree, and it'll you'll be able to kind of follow us on all the other social platforms. If you haven't done so, you can follow our YouTube channel, which is on this QR code, which has just popped up, and you can check it out. Check out this podcast, previous podcasts, and also our other short content videos we've put out this season. So we've had a couple of top 10 lists. I've become really lazy about them, and I apologize, boys. We've got a couple more. I'm hopefully going to get some done over the off season, now that the season's ended. We can kind of get a bit more time to put some more stuff together. But we'll hopefully put some more bits out there. So follow us on our YouTube. Don't forget to do the whole subscribe bell thing, which is down here somewhere. So do that, follow us, and all that good old stuff. And last but not least, as I mentioned at the start of the show, we are a podcast first and foremost. We are an audio podcast, and we are on all your favorite podcast provider of choice, so whatever that might be. And don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, stars, whatever it is on your podcast provider. Don't forget to leave us that. It helps us in the algorithm and gets us seen or heard by many, many more people. Have I missed anything, guys? Have a good one, lads. Tune into Cover Streams. Okay. Is that the joke, or is that? Anyway, if there is nothing else, I don't think there is anything else. I don't think I've missed anything. Oh, our website, door14hockey.com. This episode and all the other previous episodes are all up on there, and a few old blogs and stuff if you want to go and read some old stuff.
If you
on there
want to have a laugh, go listen to the early ones. We were awful.
You weren't awful. You weren't awful. But yes,
you weren't awful. I was awful. I had a radio presenter voice. No, it's amazing.
We all did in the first few episodes. We all did. We are coming towards the end of our season. Our anniversary season, our 10-year anniversary season, is coming to an end. Next week's episode will be the final episode of our 10th season, and we will hopefully be back for our 11th season next year. It's in hockey season year, not next year. But come back next week. We will be talking about the final parts of the playoff final weekend. We'll be looking at this past week. We'll be looking this past year. We'll be looking forward to the off season and what's to come next season. We'll also take a quick look at the NHL before we finish off for a short break over the summer months. So don't forget to join us for that. And again, that'll be next week, not in 2 weeks' time. So it'll be next week. For anybody who likes to watch live, that'll be our usual time, 8:30. And for anybody who listening on our podcast, that will drop you in your podcasts trays next Friday morning. I don't think there's anything else. All that's left for us to do then is to sign off for this week. I'm Marty.
I'm Dave.
I'm Aaron.
Have a great week.